Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. So, my friend Dana, female 29, was supposed to be getting married this past Sunday, 1/14. The wedding got canceled and things had gotten very crazy. Dana was getting married to Josh, male 32. She's still in college with me and asked a few friends from college, myself included, to be her bridal party. Now, from the start, this wedding has been a disaster. I'm going to just point out a few of the crazy stuff we dealt with. 1. She refused to invite my best friend, who she's supposedly good friends with, because she thinks we're lesbian lovers. We're not. 2. She had us go to the dress fitting and then demanded each of us pay $2,000 each for our dresses. Apparently, she had a specific style she wanted. I can afford it, but I won't buy a $2,000 dress for one event. Some of the girls in the bridal party don't have that flexibility with money. 3. Apparently, Josh couldn't invite any single females that were not blood relatives of him, so if he had any female friends, they were axed. 4. One of the girls in the bridal party doesn't drink because of her religion. Dana accused her of being pregnant in front of her parents and almost got her kicked out of her house. She was not pregnant, and she dropped from the bridal party. She was a class act, though, and never bad-talked Dana. Just said she couldn't make it. We found out about it pretty much on the day of the wedding. 5. She tried to make us cancel our holidays with our families to instead go with her to a destination bachelorette party. I work full-time, even during holidays, so I told her that was not happening. More of the bridesmaids said similar things, and she dropped it. That's just 5 things of countless drama this wedding was having before the day. Now, the meat of the story comes on the wedding day. The day started horrible. Dana was having a meltdown because apparently the flower girl had to cancel because she has chicken pox. She was threatening to sue the mother unless she brought this sick 3-year-old to the wedding. Josh apparently was able to calm her down from this starter outburst, and we began preparations. The whole day she had constant outbursts. She made people cry, like wedding staff and bridesmaids. The maid of honor deserves a medal for the amount of diplomacy and BS control she had to do. I, for the most part, took the easy route and decided to work outside the bridal suite, like checking flowers, making sure food was okay. Basically, any excuse not to be around the bride. Eventually, I had my makeup and hair done. Then the bride asked for a little bit of time alone to decompress from the stress. We didn't even fight it. You could not see a group of women run faster away. Wedding was starting in 30 minutes, so we figured she would be fine alone for that little. I spent those 30 minutes just sitting in the chapel with my phone. It had to be about 5 minutes before the start of the wedding, when maid of honor came over to tell me the wedding was canceled. I asked her what happened. Maid of honor: Dana was having a quickie with Josh's uncle in the room. Josh caught them. I just stared at the maid of honor with my mouth pretty much about to reach the floor. She told me to run, and that she was trying to get as many people out before things exploded. So I quickly got my purse, gathered the 2 bridesmaids that were carpooling with me, and we left like the devil was after us. I checked with the other bridesmaids and all had escaped. That night I called the maid of honor to check what happened, and the tea was bad. Apparently, and rightfully, Josh called off the wedding, called her a few names, told off his uncle, and has since left with his mates to, I hope, have the biggest single-man party ever. I feel so bad for him. He's an absolute gem of a man. He apparently also told Dana and her parents that she will be paying the cancellation fees. According to maid of honor, Dana's father told her in front of everyone that she was paying for it on her own for being such an S. I thought that was the end of it. I made the choice to separate myself from this mess, until I got a call from Dana, not even an hour ago, demanding $5,000 to help pay her cancellation fees. According to Dana, it was our duty as the bridal party to pay her cancellation fees. I obviously told her no, and that she might as well lose my number. I'm never speaking to this woman again. This has been pretty much the reaction of all bridesmaids and the maid of honor. By the way, maid of honor? Josh's older sister. So, in Dana's mind, lesbians are bad, sobriety is bad, but cheating right before your wedding with groom's relative is fine, and should result in no consequences whatsoever? She needs to check her moral compass, really. Looks like Josh dodged a bullet. By the way, love Dana's father. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Anon Goal says, "Hold up, back up. Girl, this is a whole high tea serving right here. I have heard S is good to unstress, but this is a whole other level. Also, props to Josh's sister. Woman is worth her weight in gold. Jen Sai 542 says, well, that was a ride. You do right in telling her to leave you alone. Actions have consequences. JBB 2002 says, whoo boy, way to start the year with a bang, if you'll pardon the pun. What an absolute crap show. Poor Josh. His sister deserves a medal for getting you all out though. Highly recommend inviting her and the other bridesmaids for drinks in a few weeks. If you happen to find out any more fallout from the disaster, then that's just a bonus. I, 31 male, got married yesterday to Isha, 44 female, and I'm regretting my decision. I and Isha met about 2 years ago when I moved into my apartment, and she was my next-door neighbor. She was a single mom with 2 kids, and initially our interactions were a bit flirtatious and fun, but nothing really happened between us for almost a year, as we became good friends. One night, the inevitable happened, and we hooked up and kept sleeping together. We stupidly took the decision of going bare because Isha's chances of getting pregnant were near impossible. We also discussed that it was all for fun, and neither of us wanted to be in a relationship. About 6 months into sleeping together, almost every night, the near impossible happened, and Isha got pregnant. Initially, Isha asked for child support to be paid towards a common fund for the child's future, where both of us would contribute, but Isha would raise the child on her own. I was okay with the arrangement, but then had a change of heart and wanted to be a part of my child's life. As we were discussing co-parenting, Isha put forth the idea of getting married, as she didn't want just one of her children to have a father and wanted me to also be the father for her other 2 kids, who were 8 and 6. I thought it would work out for the best and agreed. After a long discussion over things like eloping, having a small wedding, prenup, joint wills, and other stuff, we got married yesterday in a private ceremony. About a week ago, I found out that Isha's gynecologist told her about a year ago that Isha could still get pregnant and should be careful about getting pregnant at her age. Isha chose to ignore her doctor's advice and also hid it from me. I also discovered that Isha was still getting child support for her son from the father, which she hid when we were discussing our finances. When I asked her, she simply said she might have forgotten to mention it, and it shouldn't be a big deal, as I had committed to being a father for all her children. It felt like she was saying I'm on the hook for everything now that I have agreed to her terms of marriage. On our wedding day, Isha mentioned that she is hoping to add another baby or 2 to our family, and she was pretty sure that her body was ready for it. It was complete 180 from what she told me when we first slept together. I don't know if it is just my nerves, or if Isha is actually taking advantage of the situation she has caught me in. Well, what can I say? OP is stupid for thinking that she can't have kids when she already has 2. Yes, she's 44, but still there's always a possibility up until women go through menopause. I think OP is extremely irresponsible, and this is where it's led him. I also think OP needs to divorce her because she can't be trusted. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Fruit Parfait says, so you somehow thought a woman who had 2 children couldn't possibly have children? Bro, do you need to get your head checked? Like what? And even if it was near impossible, that's not 0%. You were actively trying to conceive at that point. Divorce her and pay child support before you end up with 2 more miracle babies. Curdy Cosplay says, first, yes, you should get a divorce because it is obvious that she has been deceiving you since the very beginning. However, I must add that you're the most irresponsible and stupid ever to think that a mother of 2, just for being that age, or just because she told you, quite a stranger when you 2 met, couldn't conceive. You were an idiot, and you have to admit it. You already realized that she is lying to you, so don't allow yourself to go even further down with more lies or more kids. Divorce. Laughing 3 says, can't you annul the marriage? It's so fresh. Like, fine, you will have to pay child support, but that sounds lesser of an evil than staying married to a person who had no qualms lying, and adding a baby and planning 2 more? Like, in this economy? What the duck? Poor kids. My father is a hillbilly boomer, and he has money. He has worked hard his entire life and has saved up and invested well. I love him even though I disagree with him on many subjects. My daughter has recently started her transition. This has made my father very angry, to the point where he no longer contributes to her education. He has always helped all of his grandkids with college. He's not college educated himself, and he thinks a college degree is the greatest contributor to your future. When my daughter told me what she felt and what she was going to do, I supported her. I also told her that she needed to start looking into a cheaper living situation, and maybe even coming home and going to college in state to finish her degree. I told her that she should probably avoid my father. She said that all her friends were at school, and that she needed her apartment because her mental health would suffer living in dorms or without roommates. She said that her grandfather loves her, and that she doesn't need my help since she has him. My dad loves her since she is his oldest grandchild and named after him. She said that I was trying to control her and change her mind. I wasn't. I fully support her, but I cannot afford an apartment in the city where she is studying. She came to Christmas dinner at my father's house in her new persona. It did not go well. My father kicked her out. We left with her. I told my dad that he needed to accept that she was his granddaughter now. He will not. He immediately canceled the money he was sending her. He has stated that he is changing his will and leaving her $1 and splitting her inheritance between all his normal grandchildren. I tried talking to him about it, but he is adamant. I spoke with my brother about it. I thought maybe we could provide a united front. He said that he isn't going to put his kid's future at risk to help her. My daughter is freaking out. I had enough money to give her rent for January and February. After that, I'm tapped. She has this semester covered, and I know we can get her some financial aid if we need. I'm about to retire. At least that was the plan. This has thrown me for a loop. I may need to continue working to help her finish school. She says that I need to be more supportive and that I should cut off my dad from seeing me or my other 2 kids to force him to change his mind. I know my dad. This will not work. I reminded her that I told her that changes might occur because of her decision, and that those consequences cannot fall completely on me. She says that I'm manipulating her. I'm trying my best in a situation I don't really understand. Am I the a-hole? Well, OP warned her about how her grandfather would react, so she shouldn't have been surprised. She expected that everything would stay the same. She needs to adjust and adapt. It sounds like OP's daughter has a very privileged life and didn't know the extent to which she should be grateful. OP can't change her father's view and can't force him to pay for her daughter. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Mediocre Ma'am says, "Not the a-hole. You've done everything you can to support her with helping to pay for school and offering her a free place to live. She needs to learn to make wise financial choices, and if that means moving in with you and going to college locally, so be it. She will make new friends, and she'll thank you later when she's more financially savvy, has less college loan debt. As far as cutting off communications with your dad, I think it's completely appropriate for her to do that right now, although she could also give him a minute to process the information and accept it. I don't think you cutting him out of your life does the situation any good. It will just push your father even further away, and likely his views will become more extreme." OK Caregiver says, "So wait, your daughter has gotten her schooling and apartment paid for this long, and now she wants you to make sure her siblings don't get that same opportunity? She thinks it's on you to pay for her schooling now? She's an adult and has to pay for her own life, just like the rest of us. The entitlement is wild to me. Not the a-hole, OP. Your dad and daughter have put you in an impossible position." I married my husband when his daughter, Trudy, was 22. She's now 36. He was 47 and I was 32. I have 2 kids, 20 and 18 now. Both are away at college. Trudy never liked me, and that was fine. She has a mother, and she was a full adult living on her own when we met. Her parents had been divorced for 6 years when I met her father. We live in a city with lots of tourism, so it was an easy decision to keep my apartment and do short-term rentals when my kids and I moved in with my husband. We also use it for out-of-town guests. Trudy and her husband ran into some financial problems last year. Trudy and her family of 4 moved in with us. We agreed that after the holidays, I would stop taking reservations for my apartment and that they could move in there. We would sign a lease and we would rent it to them without collecting rent, so they could build up rental history and money. Trudy moved in last October. It was hell. She doesn't help around the house, and neither do her kids. Her husband is working his butt off to get money together for them, so he comes home exhausted, and he is more help than her or their kids. The 3 of them leave dirty dishes everywhere, dirty laundry everywhere. The house is just a mess. I've spoken to all of them, including my husband, about this. My son-in-law is the only one who makes an effort. Trudy literally said that I live in her father's house, so I don't get to tell her what to do. My husband did not back me up. So I moved out. My apartment is now empty since the holidays are over. I said I didn't want them treating my property like they were treating my husband's home. They are all mad at me for leaving and changing the plan. She actually threatened to sue me since they have a signed lease. I told her to go ahead, since I could prove that I never got the agreed-upon deposit for first and last month's rent, which we were going to cover to help them start over. I've been here for a week now, and it is great. No noise, no mess, a much better commute for me to my work. My husband has been spending a few nights a week here with me. He wants me to come home and give them the apartment like we agreed. I said I would do that if we went back to his house that minute and it was in good shape. Narrator voiceover goes here. It was not. It was disgusting. Like it smelled bad. It was like if 5 teenage boys were living there with no supervision. She saw me looking around in disgust and said that it wasn't her fault and that the mess was because they didn't have their own living space. Yeah, sure. I turned around and went back to my place. I offered to let my husband move in with me if he wants them to have their own space. He won't, because he is retired and likes where he is. So, like I said, they are all mad at me. My husband, Trudy, her kids. Trudy's husband is the only one who understands my position. I will no longer agree to let them live in my apartment, and I will also only move back once they leave. Successful Bath 1200 says, not the a-hole. Your husband is going to need to be given an ultimatum. You or them. And stop letting him sleep over. You're letting him get away with it. Make sure you are not paying any of the bills for your husband's crap hole. Tell him you won't move back till they have gone, and the whole place has been professionally deep cleaned. He is paying for that. Adorable Substance 21 says, by you continuing to give your husband a break from the dumpster that he's currently living with, he's not going to get angry enough to create change. He gets to keep his daughter happy, and he still has you when he wants you. Why would he change at that point? There's no incentive to change at all. Not the a-hole, but you aren't being firm enough in your response. And your husband clearly doesn't understand that he's allowing not only your home to be disrespected, but he's allowing you to be disrespected. That's not okay. Why would you want to go back to that environment at all? I would say divorce, but therapy could be a very good option. Honey Hush Halo says, not the a-hole. You had a well-intentioned plan to help Trudy and her family, but her lack of cooperation and respect for your property is what's to blame for what's happened. It's disappointing that your husband isn't supporting you. Don't let their anger sway you. You had a plan to assist them, but their actions have consequences. You're within your rights to set conditions for your return, especially considering the disrespect towards your property.